Welcome in, Hardwood Heroes fans. I'm Matt Archibald. Too tall to be Brad Appleton and too skinny to be Pat Chiesa, alongside Maddie Kuhn, a.k.a. Miss Buckeye. Maddie, we just saw a 58-41 Nelsonville-York victory in the sectional finals. They go on to face Megs, but let's get to this game first. From the very get-go, it looked like Federal Hocking was behind. They lost John Skidmore in their last game to a knee injury. He was on crutches tonight in street clothes, not able to help, and that really affected the Lancers tremendously. They weren't able to dribble drive. He's a very good slasher for this team, and he wasn't able to play, and Nelsonville-York really took advantage.
Yeah, they were able to get out to a fast start. Talking to Coach Klein after the game, he said getting Daniel out to lead the team quickly and put them on top really helped them because, as you've seen, they're playing from behind a lot. They sometimes don't come out and start the game with the intensity that they need, and then they have to try and make up the points in the fourth quarter, which is why you see them losing a lot of close games. So they were able to get out to that quick start with behind Daniel Klein, and that really helped. And they were also able to keep Chris Saylor from scoring early, the tall tree down underneath.
The big 7-footer, yeah. Chris Saylor held in check tonight. He only had 4 points, got into some foul trouble middle of the third quarter and was forced to sit. But you mentioned that quick start by Nelsonville-York. The Lancers closed. It was only a 4-point game at the half. They come out in the third quarter, and this is where the game really got out of hand. Nelsonville-York outscores the Lancers 25-7. The Buckeyes press really was turned on in the third quarter.
Yeah, and they also had minimal turnovers in the third quarter, which made a big difference. And I honestly, all season, have never seen scoring like this from Nelsonville-York. It was pretty much reversed from what you would see in the regular season. Scoring 17 points in the first quarter and then scoring 25 in the third quarter, that was really, really unheard of. And then that also allowed them to play up, which is a feeling that they haven't had much this season. And even though Fed Hoc was starting to come back in the fourth quarter and outscored Nelsonville-York 14-9 in the fourth, there was Nelsonville-York still managed to win 58-41, which shows just how big that lead at the end of the third quarter was, which was actually Nelsonville-York was up 49-27 at the end of the third quarter. Talk about, you know, a real downer for Fed Hoc. I mean, how do you come back from that?
I mean, they tried their best. So the Buckeyes, like you said, they're not used to playing with the lead, but they did everything they could in their power to almost lose it. The game got down to an 11-point deficit, almost in single digits. And if you're Federal Hocking, if you've cut the lead from 22 points so drastically to almost get to single digits, that's a momentum spark right there. But they just couldn't quite do it. It seemed like every time they got close, there's Dan Klein hitting a big shot for Nelsonville-York. He led all scorers tonight. He was phenomenal. The Lancers just really didn't have that final answer to, complete the comeback. They did their best, but in the end, too much Buckeyes. They move on to face Megs in the sectional finals. What are you seeing in that game?
That game is going to be a great game because even though Megs is the higher seed and has the better record, Nelsonville-York played them really close both times this year that they've played them, and they also faced them in the very last game of the season, so they've got some current and recent history to look back on to prep for this game. And talking to Coach Klein after the game,
it always is like that, and I respect Coach Murray, and we've kind of had mirror image seasons, and I'm kind of disappointed for him in a way because he had injuries coming in, but I certainly know that they couldn't put their best foot forward tonight. So my hat's off to that Lancer team.
And so it's going to be a good matchup, and Nelsonville-York just flip-flopping the road to the Convo. Last year they played the 1-19 Megs first, pretty much blew them out. Then we had the Tyler Thompson, Dan Klein one-on-one showdown, and Nelsonville-York came out on top with that. So, I mean, a lot of people are saying this is an easy draw for Nelsonville-York, but, and that's why you play the game. You gotta win it. Talk is just talk. You gotta get out there and actually play and see if they can get to the Convo. It would be pretty impressive after the season they had for Nelsonville-York.
Yeah, pretty lackluster regular season for both teams. Nelsonville-York gets the win tonight. They're going to attempt to get into the Convo on Saturday. Maddie will be there for the action. For Hardwood Heroes, we're Matt Archibald and Maddie Kuhn.
Be heroic.